Well, each year the Oklahoma Farm Bureau honors an Oklahoma family for their work on the farm. And this year's winner has a very unique operation. Dustin Milkey explains.
The Sequoia National Wildlife Refuge has a number of things you'd expect to see. Open waters, forested areas, wildlife, and some things you don't expect, like tractors. The Sloan family of Sequoia County in eastern Oklahoma has farmed in the area that is now the Sequoia National Wildlife Refuge since the 1930s. Jody Sloan farms alongside his father, Charles, and says 600 of their 660 acres are inside the refuge.
My grandparents came here and farmed this very same land in the 1930s, and I'm the third generation farmer, and it is a great way to make a living.
To farm in the refuge, the Sloans pay their rent by doing something most farmers hate to do, leaving some of their crops in the field.
Well, that's our way of paying rent, leaving the crops in the field. It equals 25%. We may leave 5% soybeans and 5% standing corn, maybe another 5 or 10% in Japanese millet or black-eyed peas for the wildlife, left in the field for the ducks and geese and other wildlife to graze on throughout the winter. And that's just part of our rent. It's like better than paying cash, in my opinion.
However, farming in a wildlife area does come with some unique challenges.
Well, some of the restrictions we have to live under in our contract is limited use of herbicides. The Environmental Protection Agency okays use of herbicides across this country, and yet we're restricted very much so on the herbicides and insecticides we can use here in the refuge. Everything has to be okayed before we use anything, and we're limited to about a dozen or so herbicides.
But it's overcoming the challenges that helped the Sloans be named Oklahoma Farm Bureau's Farm Family of the Year. And if we just spent time showing you their farm, you'd miss their tremendous community involvement in the nearby town of Vian, where Paula Sloan works.
I teach full-time because we had to have an income that didn't depend on the weather. And I also coach, have been involved in our church, and so yes, we're pretty involved in the community several ways.
Two of the Sloans' 3 children, Sydney and Silas, attend school in Vian, while their oldest son, Seth, attends Southern Methodist University in Dallas. Sydney says having her family nearby means she receives a lot of support for her cheerleading activities.
My dad, his work schedule is very flexible, and I'm involved in so many sports, and so that way he's able to come to everything I do. And my family, my grandparents do the same thing, farm working together, and so they're able to come to the same things. So I've always had a really good support system.
And as the family lives and works together on the farm, the hope for another generation of Sloans on the family farm keeps Jody optimistic.
I think nothing's more important in this country than agriculture. I mean, we feed the world, and we're the best in the world at what we do. And so I certainly hope that one of my 3 children does stay on the farm and continue to farm.